okay, I kind of really don't want to do this video, but I'm going to do it exactly because of that. So I just recorded this other video about my inner critic, and then I watched it. And then when I watched it, I realized like, whoa, my inner critic is kind of showing up there. Because when I watched the video, I noticed that actually it has this, like when I talk at the beginning in the first, whatever, 3 seconds of the video, I have this really mean face. It kind of looks like I'm looking at it here at the screen, and it's like kind of like so there's an anger and an aggression. I know that's my inner critic, right? It's mean, it's aggressive, and it's funny because I don't treat other people like that. I don't act towards other people like that. But I do to myself. And when I look at that, I'm like, right. Now I saw like a splinter of it on my face in the video I just recorded. And it kind of brought more clarity to the qualities of my inner critic in some ways. Like there's like layers to it, like an onion almost, right? You have the voice, you have all kinds of aspects to it. But there's also a kind of a face sometimes almost, and especially an emotional quality. And there's a spectrum, of course. It's not just one emotional quality. But there is a meanness to it that I do not understand. What is the function that serves? And it's literally like I'm just posing the question here because I'm curious. I would like to explore this. Like, I get that the inner critic has, it serves absolutely a purpose. And I talked about this in like the last video, where it's like the inner critic helps to protect us from certain things. For example, for me, it's very much about protecting me from being judged by others and being seen as stupid or weird or whatever, right? I have like a whole palette of things here that I could list. But this is kind of already very much an uncomfortable zone here for me already. So I feel like let's leave it at that. And where was I want to say? So I get that there's like a protective mechanism that this inner critic has, right? That protects me from saying something stupid, right? That would make other people think I'm stupid. Sometimes it protects me from that. I still say a lot of stupid things. But so I get that. But then it has a meanness, like a really hardcore fucking meanness, where I'm like, what is that for? What purpose does that serve? That it's being so mean. And I have no idea. Like, what would be the difference if it wouldn't be so mean? Would I not listen? I think I'd listen even if it's not so mean. I think we all know a mean inner critic. It's hypercritical on all of these things, but what role does the meanness in it play? And it's like literally the fact that I can't somehow map it to anything or see the function of that or why it is useful. And I know that it's like, it says a lot of, that's interesting. So I know that it is mean in terms of the words of my inner critic in my own head, right? That I use there. I know that is mean, and I'm like, yeah, of course, that's what inner critics are. But then when I saw that, kind of, I wasn't actually it's funny, like I don't know how to articulate this, but I wasn't actually aware of the emotional meanness of it, even though I am aware of the emotional impact it has, but it almost seems like an intentional meanness. I don't know. Or maybe it is like a dog that is kind of cornered, and but it doesn't seem like it. It almost seems like a scheming meanness at some level. And there's again, it's a spectrum with different nuances and characteristics and qualities and strategies or methodologies, but there is one that really seems like a planned meanness that does not come from a place of like emotional fight or flight in the moment, but that comes from a place of like having an evil plan almost, right? Which is why? Like, yeah, there's something it makes me wonder because I understand a very like immediate defensive and how that can switch into right fight or flight. But then if it comes from a planned place or a scheming meanness, right? That what purpose does that serve? Is it like it really seems very intentional self-sabotaging, and then again, okay, let's assume that's the only thing that I can think of, like it's some part that intentionally self-sabotages. Why would it do that? Because if it doesn't, maybe something happens that is even more scary, right? Maybe it's also, maybe it is another protective mechanism where it's like, well, if it leads, right, in the immediate short term, there's like there can be a fight or flight meanness, but then there can also be a long-term planning to it where it's like, okay, I already know that the guy can kind of deal with the immediate version of this, right? Hypercriticism. But what if there's a more long term way of derailing or rerouting where this could go, right? Through a long term criticism or negative distortion. I'm feeling I'm losing the plot here. So I've touched on something that doesn't make sense to me. I'm actually very uncomfortable pondering this in some way. I'm even more uncomfortable publishing this. But fuck it. Right. Honestly, not something I was expecting. Um, I was trying to, practice getting comfortable talking into the camera freestyle. And it seems as soon as I addressed that in a critic, layers and layers and layers have been unpeeled. And now my eyes are tearing. But shit is real, right? still confused also. Like, I can't quite make sense of it. And it's almost a bit depressing in some ways. But sometimes the thing that you want to look away from, that you don't want to see, is just the thing that deserves being seen, right? So I'll stay with this and ponder this some more. It also feels so weird to ponder something like this rather than as thoughts in my head, by articulating it out loud as it happens, kind of like live streaming my thoughts, and then actually like live streaming in the metaphorical sense, but then actually also recording it and then fucking publishing it. There is so much resistance now in me. I can like literally feel it all through my body. There's a fiery heat. Stephen Pressfield, The War of Art, Resistance. Beautiful, beautiful book. That is resistance. Fuck. I mean, I know resistance, but here it is. Standing right there. Whoa. Fuck. I'm gonna hedge a bit because it allows me to do it anyway. I'm gonna hedge by saying again, I really don't want to publish this. I'm really scared that somebody will see this. But I'm gonna do it anyway. And geez, how do I hedge against this now? Fuck. That's funny. It's like on several layers now. On the one layer, I feel like this is so weird. This shouldn't be out there. Like, it shouldn't be made public at all. This should be buried somewhere deep in my mind where even I don't find it again, right? And on the other hand, it's like, no, it should be put out there because it is a bit like, if there's so much resistance, if there's such intense emotions coming up, if I feel so uncomfortable even pondering it and then putting it out there, all the more reason not to succumb to the fear. Because honestly, what the fuck could happen, right? What the fuck could happen? It's just a guy talking about feelings and thoughts. But they're messy. They're messy. And they don't make sense. And I don't understand them. And it's scary. And I want to end the recording and delete it. But I'm going to just record a little bit longer and not delete it and just upload it. And then tomorrow I make another recording. And who knows what happens, right? Honestly, it feels like there's something here that will allow me to relate to my inner critic, or deal with my inner critic, or understand my inner critic in a way that I haven't before. And even while I find it disturbing in this moment right now, honestly, I'm also like genuinely surprised, and a part of me is curious and almost grateful, because I guess there's something I haven't really seen before that I can now understand better about myself and relate to better within myself. Maybe. It's not an easy one. But yeah. Alright, I think that's enough. Let's try to catch a good vibe here. Not easy. Hand on my heart. Oh, it's like a shit ton of fear stirring up. Wow. Alright.